Welcome back. You may have noticed that we switched to English language as we will have a short international sessions, and I'm very glad to introduce Mr. Ilias Iakovidis, who is a member of the European Commission. And more than this, he is part and responsible of an initiative called the European Green Digital Coalitions. But before to focus on these initiatives, welcome, first of all, and could you please let us know who you are, where you are working, and what is exactly your functions?
Bonjour. Thank you very much for the invitation. I work for the European Commission. We are based in Brussels. I don't know how much you know about the European Commission, but basically European Commission is the executive body of Europe. We make laws, we fund things, and we bring people together, so kind of a soft power. We do a lot in terms of digitalization. I work in the department that is responsible for digitalization, for the digital technologies, for telecommunications, for things like cloud services. My boss, the commissioner, is somebody you know very well. It's Thierry Breton. We work on making sure that digitalization is a positive power, positive for sustainability. Sustainability is environment, social issues, economy. This is what we really want to do. Lately, and you see it in the press, you see it around you, the question is, what is the role of digital? Is it solution for climate change? Is it pollution? And there is a lot of articles in the press, and I'm working to make this clear. What can we do on this? That's my role in the European Commission, coordinating the green digital transition, working with member states, working with companies, working with the world through United Nations and others to make sure that we are a positive force.
Perfect. So maybe you can answer to the questions you were the one to suggest. Is ICT a solution for climate change or is it pollution? And what is the role between this, inside of these landscapes of the cloud services?
Right. This is not so easy, it's complex, but let me just simplify. If you forget everything else I say, ICT is a powerful solution and we have to make sure that we make it a solution. At the moment, it's a little bit more complex. So let's look at it just 2 steps at a time. First of all, what is the footprint of digitalization? What is the impact on environment and climate? How many emissions are in producing and using ICT? Well, there are many studies, they vary, but let's say around 3% of total emissions come from digital sector, ICT sector. This 3% is what we want to make sure that it doesn't go up. By 2040, my goal and the goal with the companies that I work with, the member states, by 2040, we want to make it 0. But before 2040, the question is it going to go up before it goes down? Or can we keep it 3, no more than 4%? And that's where we need to work on electricity consumption, and that's the job of clouds, but as well as on material efficiency. Electricity consumption most probably will go up because there is exponential growth of data. So electricity consumption is a race. Is the chips of tomorrow going to be so energy efficient that we can actually compute with less energy, much more data? Is the telecommunication services and the fiber optics going to be so much better so the increase of data will anyway not increase electricity? That is the race that is subject to many scientific papers today. Some say that we will have to increase the electricity, but then we say renewable, decarbonized electricity. So if we actually tap into decarbonized electricity, which means in France very much nuclear as well, but renewables is the preferred way, then even that increase of consumption would not lead to emissions. But electricity and the energy is less of a worry personally for me. The bigger problem is the materials that we use, the servers, cables, everything that has to do equipment around cloud services. The equipment has to be done better, done sustainably, and has to be kept durable, repairable, and refurbishable. You most probably will have another session today on how to make this circularity of our materials possible. This is really the most important thing to focus. And I challenge everybody to say, okay, wherever you come from, think about how do I use the materials? Even if tomorrow we all have 100% renewable energy, we have not solved the problem if we don't use the material properly, if we don't produce equipment properly, and if we don't use it properly. And that means longer.
Perfect, and thank you. But now let's try to focus. Yes?
I'm sorry. What I wanted to say is that greening the ICT is the condition. Now, to make sure that we actually avoid emissions and reduce emissions, we have to use it smartly in smart networks, energy, in agriculture, in transport, in manufacturing. And that's where I come with the Green Digital Coalition to say, this is the smart way to deploy. Not all digitalizations are equal. There are greener ways to do it, and there are worse ways to do it.
Okay, the clock is ticking awfully fast, but well, could you please in a few seconds explain us what is exactly the European Green Digital Coalition you were speaking about? And you are part of it, of course.
Yes, we have initiated something that companies came together at CEO level. Several French companies like Atos, Schneider, Orange, Scaleway, OVH Cloud are part of a coalition. I have 28 members today, Siemens just joined, that will sit down with non-profit organization, with standardization body, and they will create standardized methodology how to calculate the net impact of digitalization on environment in a given scenarios, agriculture, manufacturing, smart networks, transport. So the companies, they at the moment make their own calculations, how good they are or how bad they are on environment. We agreed, so this coalition has agreed that they will do one standardized method to calculate what is the impact of environment on digital. And we as a commission will pay all the non-companies, that means standardization bodies, specialized experts, scientific-based bodies to make that standard happen. And then we deploy and we give this to governments to use the deployment in the greenest possible way. Again, to have benefits for environment, for social issues, and for the economy. That's sustainability.
Great. We are already at the end of our small meeting. I have to thank you, Mr. Ilias Iakovidis, and for your interventions and all that bunch of information you bring with you. I will have, and I apologize, to switch back to French to simply launch our next sequences. I ask you only a few seconds to do so. Chers auditeurs, retour à la langue française pour vous annoncer le sujet suivant, une interview du manager France de Cohesity et qui va nous montrer comment le cloud peut participer du développement régional et aide à réduire la fracture numérique. Again, thank you so much.